Hey, what's up? Welcome to In the Zone. I'm Dave Delgado here with Mara Tamayo and her mom Stephanie, and we're talking about getting student athletes to the next level, playing collegiately. Now, for Stephanie, when and what was that first conversation like with Mara when she told you and talked about wanting to play sports at that next level?
Well, that's always been a dream of hers. Um, Never really thought it would could happen until she went to that Nike rugby camp and was approached by a bunch of college coaches.
Yeah, let's talk about that Nike rugby camp because some of the colleges that showed interest was Dartmouth, Stanford. You also reached out to Lindenwood University and Mount St. Mary. But going back to that camp specifically, what was the conversation like with the coaches and what were they asking and telling you at that rugby camp?
Um, they were telling me that I have a lot of talent for a little girl, and I was one of the smallest girls there, and that if I keep pushing, I'll get to where I want to get.
And as a parent, of course, family support is definitely a major contributing factor. And throughout the years of you attending all the practices and games, as a parent, what do you think is some of the things that other parents out there that might want to try to get their kids to a college, not only for sports but academics? What are some of the steps that certain parents should be able to focus on and want to take in order to get their kid to that next level?
Um, that's a pretty hard question because it does require a lot of work to get to get your child exposed. Um, a lot of work in terms of legwork. Um,
For you guys though, it was pretty easy because um, there was a scout that saw your highlights on Instagram, and how did that all go about for him getting in contact with you guys and interaction between you and the guy that messaged you on Instagram?
Oh, well, she was approached by a scout on Instagram. Of course, your first instinct as a mother is this a hoax? Is this person actually for real? So we had to dig and we had to do our own investigation to see if he was actually really legit.
Yeah.
Um, and then we found that he worked for a company that actually helped a lot of the student athletes get to the collegiate level. So my husband contacted him, and then he said he came across Mara's highlight video that she put out there that she released to a bunch of the other colleges, and he helped. Not only open up doors, but kind of guide us through certain steps that we had to take, because you don't want to just email or send off your highlight video just to any coach, because a lot of times they'll just throw it on the back burner. So there's a certain process you actually have to go through. Um, uh,
Well, for you as a parent, with the colleges that have shown interest, what's the deciding factor into making a decision that best suits Mara of course, as an athlete, but also academically as a student?
Well, it's unfortunate that our deciding factor is finances, based on how much financial support they could give us. Um, Luckily, she was offered both academic and athletic scholarships, So basically, it was just more who could offer more on the table.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to be the story that goes around here on island is, parents don't have the funds to send their kids to college because, I mean, some families, college is not pushed onto their child because, like you said, the finances. So the hopes of a student playing collegiately is something that hasn't really been talked about in years past, but now with more kids, really focusing on school and their talents are able to match what they put in the classroom, that they are offered the opportunity to play at the collegiate level. And for you, Mara, you're a 3.9 GPA student, but how important was school to you growing up and in high school? Because, sports, injuries, and stuff like that, you always do have to fall back on academics and being a student athlete first.
Academics plays a really big role in my life because not only does it push me, but I can't play another sport if I don't have the grades for it. And that is something I need to fall back on because I'm not only going to college for sports, but I'm also going college to get my degree, and that's always the first option. My sports is my second option. I just think that rugby is my ticket out to help me and my family get to where I need to be.
And, for the people that haven't seen the newspaper article about you and your family and what you guys been through, we ran a little bit on it on our Game Changer segment, but you were off island for medical treatment. Mara was here playing sports, and she talked about how she used to always look in the stands and you guys being there and motivating her and cheering her on. But then while you were off island for medical treatment, she'd look there and she'd kind of feel a little bit lost because she didn't see you guys there. But, how reassuring were you on the phone with those phone calls, really telling her that, hey, focus on school, focus on your sports, and everything over here, we'll worry about what's going on here and take care of it on this end.
Well, thank God through the technology nowadays, you're able to keep in contact just by your phone or a touch of the screen, right? So we always made it a point where right before her games we'd get a hold of her, or one of us would call and just give her a little bit of a boost to remind her that this is her last year. Don't worry about the things you can't control. Stay focused. It's a little bit of a sacrifice, but it's a temporary sacrifice. It's something we had to go through, and it's a constant reminder as parents. You just have to give them the support, the constant support that they need. Kids nowadays easily get distracted, so whether it's just good luck in your game, or after game, or we were also lucky enough to somebody always was able to live stream the games for us, so it kind of felt like we were there even though we weren't there. She can't see us, but we could see her. And then at the end of the game, it's I guess family tradition where her and her dad are, what she did wrong, what she needed to improve on, what she shouldn't do the next game. But basically that. Thank God to technology nowadays.
And for you, Mara, for other student athletes out there that want to eventually take their game to that next level. Of course, we'll always talk about being a student athlete first. What are some of the things that other students would have to make sure they keep in line in order for them to keep that door open to hopefully, one day get that phone call or that email from a coach that says, hey, we're interested. We want to see more game footage on you, and the future looks bright for you to possibly join us at our particular university or college.
The first thing that I always did was always video your games or record your game, because those recordings get you somewhere. So you always need to create a highlight video of everything good that you did on the field or the court. Also, you have to stay on task with all the requirements of the applications and the due dates, because if you're not, then you can say bye to the school. And you gotta always have the support, because without the support too, you lose motivation into doing everything you need to do.
And for you, Stephanie, do you find yourself having to constantly monitor, or are you just fortunate where school and academics just has been something that she's been able to really strive in, or were there times where you had to say, hey, Mara, are you on top of your school? Do you have to check homework, always talking to schools and making sure that the grades are where they need to be, because that's one of the main contributing factors on getting the student athlete to the next level.
Yeah, well, I guess you can say I've been fortunate, or my husband and I have been fortunate with Mara and both of our kids, where we've taught them at a very young age. We've taught them how to discipline themselves, where they come home from school, they take a snack and then go straight into homework and studies. None of the I'll do it later, let me watch TV first. So we've actually started them from a very young age. So as the years went by, and then as she started playing sports, like around probably 5th grade is when the first time she played sports, she learned to prioritize, and then I think with the prioritizing, she was able to just carry the good habits all the way through. So she knows that if her grades aren't up there, she can kiss sports goodbye. So that was really a drive for her.
And how important is time management? Because on Guam we have a lot of kids that are multiple sport athletes, so they really don't have time to take off. First quarter, second, third, fourth, all the way through. They're constantly in sports, homework, practice sessions, training away from school activities, putting in the extra work. But for you, how important was time management?
Time management played a really key role into my life. I would do like nationals in the morning before school, go to practice for whatever sport there was, and then I would go outside league practice at night, and then come home late, and then I would still go to the gym. So it takes a lot of discipline and knowing your priorities and what you need to do first before you do the next.
And I think it comes down to sacrifice. I mean, sacrifice, it's not anything negative. It's something that we have to do in order for a goal to be achieved. And I think for parents nowadays, if they realize that it's going to take a little bit more investment, especially at the high school level, a little bit more time. Sometimes we might need to invest a little bit more to put into our child. I think the ultimate rewarding fulfillment is, as a student, as a child, to give back to their parents is in a way of or form of a scholarship to help. We talked about that before, alleviate some financial burden. And for you, that was a main goal in your mind that you set, was finding any way to help your parents alleviate some of that financial burden that they wouldn't have to worry about. And did you find that to give yourself a little bit extra motivation during the season and help you achieve your goal?
Yeah, it pushed me more than anything did, because we're struggling financially with everything that's going on, and to have that scholarship and to make my dreams come true without having to pay, that's all I ever wanted my family to go through, you know.
And how proud are you as a parent? I mean, she hasn't made her decision yet on which college she will be attending, but there is a signing lined up at Okkodo where you're looking at getting your jersey retired. But that day, when that day comes, it's got to be one of the most exciting times of your life, because you see your child achieving a goal that she set for herself, and something that you helped her achieve as well.
Of course. I mean, well, we've always been proud of Mara through her struggles, through her accomplishments. But what parent doesn't want to see their child succeed in that way? You know, it's a reassurance that you've raised them right, you've done right as a parent, and our number one goal is to make sure our kids succeed, or to live better lives than that was given to us. And we're fortunate that, you know, Mara has that drive and that determination. She doesn't take no for an answer. So it's just a blessing in itself for the opportunities that have been opened up to her, and just excited for what the future's going to bring for her.
And what are some advice that you can give to any parent out there that, you know, is kind of clueless on what steps to take to ensure that those opportunities are in the future for, you know, their child, if they are contemplating on playing at the next level?
Well, for us, Mara going to that Nike rugby camp opened up a lot of doors, because it was able to broadcast her talents, her rugby talents. My advice to parents out there who are thinking of taking the same road would be maybe go out and look for athletics scouts that are willing to help you, because Gavin, the scout that helped us out tremendously. We practically would have been lost without him. So it takes a little. They do charge a little bit of money, but he was willing to work with us financially. The other thing is, I know it's very easy for us to say, I'm busy in our everyday lives. You just have to take a little time, you know, support your kids, make sure you got to stay on top of them. Like what Mara said, if you miss those deadlines, it's kind of it for you. So you got to make sure, you know, and stay on top and make sure those deadlines are met.
And for you, school-wise, any tips to those student athletes on how to make sure time management, homework, and making sure everything is in line?
I would say that any little free time you have, and if you're struggling in school, use that to help you.
And ask for help. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
ask
that's
for
the
help
thing
too.
nowadays is everybody's so scared and ashamed
Scared
to ask for help. I mean, if you're struggling in a certain class, there's a classmate that is probably getting an A in that class. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking for a little help.
Or even your teacher.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just, I don't understand this. Could you explain it to me? And most teachers will take the time out of their busy schedule, whether it be during lunchtime or after school, or even your counselor. A lot of the kids nowadays don't utilize their school counselors.
And they're there for a reason.
They're there for a reason.
Any more ideas or information that you want to get out there to anybody listening that might help them?
Well, if you have a goal, chase your goal and chase every dream, because every dream is reachable. You may go through a lot of struggles, but God put you into those situations for a reason, and the only thing that's stopping you from achieving your dream is yourself.
Yeah, I think with sacrifice definitely comes reward. So congratulations on your success, and we'll keep you posted. We'll definitely be there for the signing, so make sure you hit me up, and I'll be there for the signing. But don't forget, hey, catch me every Thursday, 9 in the morning, Facebook Live for In the Zone.